What's up, people? This is Zero, and today I wanted to kind of give my thoughts on this. I usually don't talk about politics, but it's kind of like not exactly the politicians so much, just so much the people how they're reacting to the whole election. And just to be clear, I don't support none of the politicians, so that's my views on it. So, I don't hear nobody say, oh, he's a Trump supporter or, or I'm a Biden supporter. I don't hear none of that because I don't care for neither one of them. Now, we'll say about Trump, I find him kind of funny because he trolls America on a daily basis. That's just what he does. Okay, so the whole thing with the whole election, yeah, okay, it seemed, from what has been said, I think maybe Saturday they determined Friday or Saturday, one of them, I think it was Saturday, where they finally determined that Joe Biden was the president. I think they're still trying to get the rest of the votes in, but it was kind of crazy, like for like every day after election day, people kept saying, "Yeah, Joe Biden's already president. He's already won. He's already won." I'm like, well, yeah, of course, he's close. He was like at 264 for the longest, and and it was just like I was just like, well, they just playing, they playing the like doing the whole reality show, America's Next President. So people say, yeah, Joe Biden president, Joe Biden's president, even though there's nothing, no concrete proof that he's actually won yet. But people kept saying it. So I'm like, okay. I was like, I ain't see no point in that. And then while they having this, of course, Trump had to troll and say, hey, I'm gonna fight this. Fight this in court. He ain't gonna win, but he's just wasting time. Or if he does manage to win, that would be hilarious. Because all the people doing all these memes again, him like rubbing in his face and all that, which he deserves it. Troll people for 4 years straight. You had it cut. It is what it is. But the fact that people think that Trump is like the worst person ever, I mean, that's kind of funny. But it's like, yeah, he does a lot of crazy stuff. Yes, I'm not gonna deny that. Even though with someone who is powerless, people sure focus a lot on him. But people think he has power, so say he's a dictator. I'm like, well, yeah, And I remember I seen one comment where somebody had kind of addressed something similar on Instagram, and I seen one of the people who put their comments on there like, oh yeah, someone say dictator say, well, dictators can't get voted out, so he's not really a dictator. She got a point. You can't vote out a dictator. I have never seen it happen. I say dictators usually get killed or dragged out and killed. That's usually how they go out, or they get locked up. That's usually the way a dictator gets kicked out. So I mean, it was just like the whole thing where everybody was like, "Yes, we finally got somebody in there, in there. We ain't got Trump anymore." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I can see why you don't like Trump, but the thing about it is, it's like Trump actually showed you like how these politicians really felt about you. But I think people like getting lied to. So you'll get lied to again. Joe Biden's gonna pretend like he's a friend while he's not doing anything, and then he has like a vice president, Kamala Harris, which everybody is like touting her as being the first black president. She doesn't identify as black. Matter of fact, she based her whole career on screwing over black people. You can look it up. I think she was a a DA, and she was just screwing black people over during her career as a DA, and she doesn't even identify as black. But she is considered a black woman. So So I mean, you got a guy who pretends like he likes black people, which Democrats, that's what how they do. They pretend like they like the people that are supporting them, but they're more racist than the Republicans. I know you're gonna say it, I'll say just as racist. No, they're more racist, but they have taken on the role as the good guys, while the Republicans take on the role as the bad guys, and they would never let an independent run. Take Bernie Sanders. People like Bernie Sanders. He's never going to be president. You can let it go. They're never going to let him be president. Neither side is going to take him. So you can forget all that. So I would just say, like, yeah, nobody likes Joe Biden. It's going to keep her. Nobody like Hillary Clinton. But the whole thing with that is like, don't be so quick to try to get rid of somebody that you'll take anybody. Because believe me, you could pick somebody worse. Now, whether it remains seen or not that if Joe Biden's going to be worse, or he's going to be just as bad, or maybe not as bad. Either way, you got to races and switch down one race for another. So I'm not going to tell nobody what they want to do. And and before I go, I got to address one more issue. When people were voting, it's like if you didn't vote Democrat, then you're like, if it was like, oh, you're voting for Trump. Even if you're voting independent, you're voting for Trump. I'm like, I don't, it's the silliest thing I've ever heard. The fact that you're telling somebody that if you don't vote the way you're voting, which Democrats tell people, you don't vote Democrat, you're voting for Trump. You're voting Republican. Even if you vote independent. And I seen this one video of this kid who had voted independent. Mother got mad because he didn't vote Democrat. Made a whole big fuss of it, and his sister recorded the whole thing and put it on the internet, and it went viral. I seen it, but somebody else sent it to me, and it was on Now's This Politics. Now, people should vote however the way they want to vote. Shouldn't tell nobody who they should vote for, who they shouldn't vote for. Because if you're trying to talk about Donald Trump being a dictator, that is dictator-like behavior. That is authoritarian, totalitarian-like behavior. To tell people who they can and cannot vote for. That is voter intimidation that you just did to that boy. And when people do that, that's voter intimidation. That's voter intimidation. There we go. So I hope in the next go around that people who did that kind of think about what they did and not do that. Not do voter intimidation, because think about people want to bring up the ancestors. When you tell people you don't want to vote, so what about our ancestors? What they fought and died for? Well, yeah, your ancestors fought and died for it, but your ancestors didn't fight and die for you to intimidate people to vote the way that you choose to vote, and that you think clearly about these politicians that you put in here. And if you're going to put them in there, make sure they actually do what you're going to do, because if, you put Joe Biden there, he's going to he's he's going to go in there. He's not going to fulfill any promises that he's going to make. I can guarantee it. And what his excuse is going to be? If it's mainly if the Congress is majority Republicans, it's like, oh, Republicans won't let me do anything. My hands are tied. Blah 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 blah. And if it's Democrats, like, oh well, he's trying to work with everybody and blah blah blah. Like Obama. Obama came in the first 2 years. He had the majority of Congress that were Democrat. You tell me you had a majority of Democrat and you couldn't pass nothing? Come on, we want the Republicans in. You had a majority. And he started that whole 60 rule thing. Now, people say there's always been there. It wasn't, because I remember them talking about that. Obama put that in there. So your puppeteers told you to put that in there. And, where you could have just had a 51% majority. And you got things passed the way you wanted to. Not only, and people say, well, he did pass stuff. Yeah, healthcare, okay. I'm going to go to that, because I actually helped do the petition for it. I was actually on the Victory 08 campaign, help supporting Obama, and I remember what he promised. The whole premise of the healthcare bill, which called Obamacare, was Romney Care, was supposed to be that you were supposed to get a choice in whether or not you wanted government health care or public or private health care. And, it's like supposed to be a choice between that. And they took it off the table. And who took it off the table? Wasn't a Republican. It was a Democrat. Matter of fact, his name was Bud Nelson. And he took it off, and they called it I think it was called the Cornhusker Bill or Cornhusker Deal or something like that. Took it off of there because he wasn't going to vote for it if they kept that option on there. That's what he did to keep the vote, get his vote to get all the Democrats on it together. But Republicans didn't want on there. And then it's kind of funny. Like even after it got passed four Republicans. One of them, I don't remember all of them that did it, but I remember one of them. It was Scott Brown. He was one of the Republicans that voted for the health care bill, and the reason why they were able to pass it because they took off public funded abortion, which I can agree with that. You know, if you want to abort a baby, you should be able to pay for it on your own. Shouldn't people the taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for that. I mean that's my opinion on it. I know people gonna have opinions on that. This is my opinions. You have whatever opinions you want to. Yeah, they're not doing a whole big debate on what your views on things are. I'm just giving my point of view. So yeah, I mean, it was like certain things he did, and even with the healthcare bill, he actually, it actually, as far as workers, actually raised up cost in health insurance, at least as far as workers. But I mean, ironically, when Trump got in there, prices got lower. But it's kind of like that whole thing where if see a candidate that most people that president that people hate, or at least a majority or some people, majority of people hate, or like at least how society is supposed to hate, gets in and good things start happening under him. Now people are saying, well, it's because the president we liked before that he set things in motion. It just now kicked in. I'm like, why is it so hard to give credit where credit is due? That's it. Just give credit where credit is due, and let the man have his shine. You ain't got to like him, and then like when president do like, and things start going start going wrong. Oh, it was that president we hate fault. He messed everything up, so now he got to go clean it up. I'm like, come on, man. I mean. Just if you're gonna do it, just be fair. But I know that these two teams, red team, blue team, or I guess like I heard somebody heard homie Cautious say like Bloods and Crips, you know, going at it. So you got to bang on the bang on your party, Democrat, Republican, you know, you got to bang on 'em. So it's just like a cult like behavior, but I understand it because, the reason why we have a government is so we have people that do the thinking for us so that we don't have to. That way they take all their responsibility and accountability while everybody else gets to point blame at the particular president or a person in charge. It doesn't matter. You just need a good fall guy. Take away any responsibility, even though maybe some things that you could have did to help make that person's job easier, but you didn't want to do it. So I guess as far as that, I guess I'm done ranting. uh, but I may talk about it sometime either to 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 today, tomorrow, maybe some other day. I don't know, but I may continue to talk about it. I may talk about it some more, just like I'm ranting about it. But I am done. So I hope you got something out of it. Tell me your thoughts. Don't try to start no whole political debate down here. 'Cause, we don't need no. I don't need no war zone in the comment section. Be respectful. And I'll see you guys later. Hold this mouth vibration, people. Y'all have a great day.